How are you guys? Hi. Is it one of those Lion players? I'm good. How are you? I wish I would have gone up if I knew you were going to be there. How do you do? Oh, yeah, that's what my mom said. I was FaceTiming her. She said, this used to be a hospital. She's like, someone's dead. I was like, yeah, right. I know. Doesn't that make you feel bad? I feel bad when they're hurt. When they're hurt what do I do about it? That's sorry. Okay. So mind you, we're running yeah. So I could be like, tell you a friend. None of us can call and break her leg. Yeah. But she'll just leave us. We're not camping here. I understand.
He knew it. He was like, he was hurt. I was dying. I got it.
he enjoying it?
He's always like, all right, I'm gonna go. It's like, okay, all right, see ya.
Yeah, I think I mean it's too far away, too far to like hang out and set up I will be I can't miss it. Hey, John. Coming in this way, you think? Did you have first And here you coming straight now? Well, I'll be inside then. You need a minute.
All right. Welcome to the first of two games for today against the Madison Capitals. Still going to be short. Onak and Hollow, both suffering injuries. We're also going to be down to one goalie on the weekend as Gage Cutting was called up to the North Iowa Bulls for the weekend. So we're going to have Dabrowski in net for both games. We're going to start off with the Nietzsche line, Nietzsche, Credidio. See who's going to join them. Letcher, Miller, and Campbell at D. Face-off one back by Madison. They take it up the near board, get it across, and send it in the opposite corner. Puck goes on to Dabrowski, and he covers. Annoying. Face-off one back by Madison. They get it over the sideboard. Miller hits it up. Madison sends it to the corner. Puck up to Letcher. Letcher turns it on the board. Madison gets it out, but then puts it right back. Puck to Miller. Miller goes to Campbell behind Dabrowski. Up to Credidio. Credidio tries to chip out and does. Finds Letcher. Letcher and Nietzsche have a 2-on-1. Letcher toe drags puck behind the goaltender. Madison tries to get it out. Miller keeps it in. Miller goes to Campbell. Campbell, one-timer. Broke his stick, flips over the boards, and he goes for a change because Gintis comes on the ice. Madison, the opposite direction, goes for their own change. Puck to the corner. Miller harassing. Gintis over to knock the puck out to Miller on the opposite corner. Up to Credidio. Credidio into neutral ice and changes. Reynolds and Kruger come on. Aldridge joins Gintis at D. Reynolds gets the puck out from behind the net, kept in by Madison. They send it back down, hits off of the glass and behind the goaltender. Reynolds trying to poke away. Puck finally makes its way to Gintis and then up to Reynolds. Reynolds sends it across. Brown is able to get on the ice. Letcher changes. Puck hits off of a skate. Kruger tries to tap that to Brown. It gets knocked back into the zone. Brown chips the puck in. Brown and Kruger race in. Reynolds up on the sideboard. Madison gets it out, heads down, get past Campbell. Rybicki takes the rough ride into the boards. Puck back up to the point. Brown up to challenge. Looks like it got hit off of Brown's glove and then tapped in. And Madison, at 14:44 to go in the first, has a 1-0 lead. Face-off, controlled by Fury, Chalicki, Carter, and Kushkowski on the ice. Rybicki and Campbell remain at D. Face-off one back by Madison. They flip it up into the neutral zone. It goes over to Rybicki. Up to Kushkowski and knocked back down to Rubicki. Campbell sends it forward, and that'll go for an icing. Kushkowski goes early and gets kicked out. Carter comes in to take the draw. Face off. One back to Campbell, knocked up the boards, but kept in by Madison. Madison shot on Dabrowski, knocked aside. Up to the Madison D, they send it back around. Over to the opposite corner. Campbell gets a stick on it, goes to Kushkowski, but then gets knocked. Kushkowski takes a high stick. No call by the officiating team. Puck to Rubicki and pushed in by Chalicki. Rubicki and Campbell change. Gintis and Miller come on. Puck passed by Kushkowski to Carter up front. Madison gets it out, gives Carter a cross-check. Chalicki keeps hold of the puck. Kushkowski goes for a change. Chalicki to Miller. Miller with the lane blocked. Another shot by Miller goes wide over to Chalicki. Gintis moves back as Capitals attack the zone. Good stick by Miller, knocks the puck to neutral ice. Nietzsche is on, and Palauskas is on. Madison is still off sides. We got to pass up to Palauskas that gets knocked away. Up the near board and sent around. Dabrowski's going to try to slow it down. He does. Gives it to Gintis. Gintis knocks up to Palauskas. Palauskas takes a hit but gets the pass to Miller. Miller up to Bergeron. Quick pass to Nietzsche. Nietzsche tries a toe drag. It gets knocked aside. Puck still in the ice. Palauskas is there. Keeps it in. Palauskas to Bergeron. Bergeron from the slot. Puck in front. Nietzsche gets a shot at it and covered by the goaltender. 12:45 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Madison. Reynolds, Credidio, and Letcher on the ice. Rubicki and Aldridge at D. Reynolds set to take the draw. Gets kicked out, taking too long, according to the officials. Puck one and over to Letcher. Letcher's shot bounces off of the pad and over to Madison. Madison tries to send it across. Letcher catches it, but gets knocked away. Good back check by Reynolds to knock the puck loose over into the corner. Rubicki knocks player off the puck in the corner, but goes free to Madison. They got a shot on Dabrowski. No rebound given. 12:19 to go. We'll get a change. Brown and Kruger on the ice with Kushkowski. Puck dropped in feet. Dug out by Rubicki and over to Kruger. Kruger taps it, gets interfered with. Puck goes down low. Kushkowski and Kruger giving some pressure. Puck over the sideboard. Brown lifts the stick, knocks it over to Kushkowski, still kept by Madison. Stuck in feet. Brown trying to dig it out and does. Gets it over to the sideboard where Kruger is. Kruger misses the puck. It goes up. Oh, he knocks it away. Kruger able to get the puck back. Gets a shot. It goes high off of the boards and out. Miller to Kruger. Brown changes. Carter comes on. Puck bounces off of Miller and back into Madison's defensive zone. Kruger with pressure slows up Madison. Madison goes cross ice where Carter is waiting. They go cross ice again. Miller chips ahead for Nietzsche. Kruger goes for a change. Chalicki comes on. Madison trying to split the D. Campbell knocks it away over to Miller. Miller to Carter. Carter, good puck protection. Puck gets knocked away. Madison in the other direction across center ice and through into the zone. Shot into the glove of Dabrowski. 10:56 to go in the first, still 1-0 Madison. Bergeron, Pulauskas, Reynolds on the ice, Miller and Campbell at D. Again, Fury gets kicked out. Pulauskas comes in to take the draw. Campbell flips it up in the air for Bergeron. Bergeron picks it, picked up by Madison. They send it back the other direction. Miller takes it away and gets it to Campbell. Campbell up the boards, kept in by Madison, back to Campbell. Campbell cross for Reynolds. Reynolds circling. Pushes through the middle and up to Pulauskas. Pulauskas give and go to Reynolds. Reynolds just goes past his stick. Campbell keeps it. Reynolds with a cross check in the boards. Puck knocks loose and over to Przintis. Campbell sends it across, slowed down by Madison's goaltender. Up the boards, kept by Bergeron. Pulauskas pulls it off of the boards, pulls through a player, and he's going to draw a penalty. So with 9:57 to go in the first, we'll go on our first power play. Madison for hooking. So they'll get 2 minutes, and we'll send out Brown, Carter, Chalicki, Kushkowski, and Campbell. Carter to take this draw. Wins it back to Campbell. Campbell over to Chalicki to Brown. Brown's pass misses off of his stick. Kushkowski sends it to the corner. Madison tries to freeze. Move the puck up to Campbell. Campbell to Kush. Kushkowski walks in. Shot in front. Loose. The goaltender holds on to it. And we'll get a change. Our other power play unit will come on with Reynolds, Przintis, Pulauskas, Nietzsche, and Letcher. Minute 34 to go in the power play. Puck cleared over Letcher and down. Dabrowski comes out to play it. Puts it up the boards for Letcher. Letcher in the corner. Sends it for Przintis. Przintis goes behind Dabrowski. Up to Reynolds. Reynolds' pass gets knocked away by Madison, picked up by Nietzsche. Nietzsche back to Reynolds, back to Nietzsche. Nietzsche, backdoor pass for Pulauskas, bounces past Pulauskas. Reynolds picks it up. Cross ice for Przintis. Przintis carries it down, loses the puck, but it's picked up by Pulauskas. Back to Przintis. To Letcher. Letcher, quick shot, is blocked over to the sideboard. Reynolds, back to Letcher. Letcher to Reynolds. Reynolds backdoor pass intercepted. Pulauskas was streaking down, tied up Nietzsche and Reynolds. Puck is cleared and sent down. 34 seconds to go. Pulauskas and Nietzsche change. Chalicki and Brown come on. Letcher drops to Przintis. Przintis through the neutral zone. Sends the puck in, goes for a change. Chalicki up the sideboard. Knocks the puck down. Bounces off of Reynolds, and then Letcher keeps it in. Down for Chalicki. Chalicki and Brown on the backboard. Brown knocks it to the corner where Reynolds is, and he sends it to Letcher. Oh, it doesn't quite make it to Letcher. Now Letcher has a hold of it. Campbell sends that up to Chalicki. Brown goes on the pressure. We change. Kushkowski and Carter join Brown. Rubicki over to Campbell, up to Brown. Brown hits Kushkowski in the skates. Madison goes the other direction. Rubicki takes it away, gets knocked aside. Brown gets a stick on that pass. Madison tries to center, flips in the air. Puck up to the point. Deflected in front, goes high. Carter to Rubicki. Rubicki kicks it and then hits it over to Brown. Brown dumps it in, changes. Credidio comes on. Credidio off the sideboard. Getting grabbed, still has the puck. Credidio goes out of the zone. Fury has to tag up. They had a pass. Goes back to Miller. Miller to Porzingis and then up into neutral ice. Kruger comes on the ice. Puck over to Porzingis, up to Credidio. Over to Kruger. Nietzsche keeps that puck in. Madison tried to collect. Nietzsche's shot goes off of the glass hard and up to Porzingis out of the zone. Over to Miller. Miller steps on the puck, takes a spill. Porzingis picks it up. Puck in neutral ice, brought back in by Madison. Porzingis stands him up, picked up by Nietzsche. Nietzsche to Miller. Miller flips it into neutral ice and back into Madison's zone. Madison trying to clear it in, stopped by Miller and sent back up. Miller cross ice to Porzingis, back to Miller. Up to Credidio. Puck goes into Madison's zone, and then that should be icing. Waved by the other official. Reynolds on the ice. Credidio trying to clear it forward, couldn't. Puck goes over to Dabrowski, plays it back for Miller. Miller to Kruger, stepped in front of by Madison. Puck stuck on the boards. Miller and Kruger trying to battle it out. Puck is frozen. It comes loose to Madison. Madison takes a shot into Dabrowski's chest, and we'll get a change. Pulauskas, Bergeron, Rubicki on the ice with Aldridge. 5:05 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Madison. Fury tried to change up spots, and we get kicked out of the zone. Dropped, won by Madison, walks across, shot deflects off of, I think, Dabrowski's glove into the corner. Aldridge ties up his guy. Puck comes loose to Rubicki. Rubicki sends it to Bergeron. Bergeron for Reynolds. Knocked away by Madison. Madison goes the other direction. Aldridge to Rubicki. Reynolds taps it to Pulauskas. Pulauskas tries to send it in. It goes into the netting. Carter, Chalicki, Kushkowski on the ice with Campbell and Miller. Face-off one to Chalicki, he sends it in. Slowed down by the Madison goaltender over to the corner. Carter forces Madison to change direction. They go over to the far board through the neutral zone and wide. Carter tries to step in front of that shot. It goes on to Dabrowski, puts it to the backboard. Campbell to Carter. Carter to Kushkowski. Kushkowski to Chalicki. Chalicki slap shot off of the goaltender into the corner. Kushkowski sends it back up to Chalicki, but taken away by Madison. Madison's pass attempt blocked by Campbell, put back up the boards to Kushkowski over to Chalicki. Carter changes, Letcher comes on. Krzyzkowski gets a shot on, bounces off of the goaltender, pushed over to the corner. Madison taking it up the near board. Nietzsche's on the ice. Puck to the far side. Knocked up the ice by Aldridge to their D. Shot on Dabrowski's pad. Back in front. Dabrowski with a tip of the toe save. That might have hit a skate. And then the putback attempt goes on the netting and we get a whistle. .3:14 to go in the first. Face-off, won back by Nietzsche. Over to Rybicki. Rybicki to Credidio. Credidio stops it in his skates. Avoids a hit. Gets a pass over to Nietzsche. Goes wide. Puck up to Aldridge. Aldridge puts it on net. It goes into the stomach of the goaltender. And we get a whistle. 2:59 to go in the first. Madison still up by 1. Madison takes that puck into the corner off of the faceoff. Try to go up the boards. Nietzsche gets a hold of it, knocked away from Nietzsche, and then sent up the sideboard. Madison trying to get past Rybicki. Rybicki gets tied up. They both go into the boards. Madison with it in the corner. Comes over to Letcher. Letcher tries to put that back for Aldridge. Madison sends it back to the board. Letcher ties up again. Aldridge over to help. Madison sends it up to their point. It gets past him. Nietzsche racing back. The goaltender has to play it. Puts it over to the sideboard. Kruger's on the ice. Puck bounces off of Madison over to Campbell. Campbell sends it up the boards. Madison tries to send it back in. Nietzsche changes. Reynolds comes on. Letcher chips. Goes for a change. Aldridge changes. Miller's on. Brown comes on for Letcher. Puck goes across the ice. Dump back on Dabrowski by Madison. Madison sends it up to Kruger. Dabrowski sends it up to Kruger. Kruger pass knocked away, and Madison is offsides. 1:39 to go in the first. Same personnel are going to remain with Brown, Reynolds, Kruger, Campbell, Miller. Madison wins that faceoff back. They try to send it forward, not enough on it. Miller steps in front of it, gets it up to Kruger. Kruger gloves it down, gets pinned, and then knocked away. Puck goes on to Dabrowski. He leaves it for Campbell and Miller. Miller puts it to Campbell. Campbell up for Kruger. Kruger takes it off of the boards and dumps it in and around for Brown. Brown coming over. Puck bounces past Madison and Brown. Madison takes it back into the zone, but it gets pushed into a neutral ice. Miller to Reynolds. Gets knocked away from Reynolds. Miller back up to Reynolds. Reynolds sends it in. Puck behind the goaltender. Played up by Madison. Bounces off of a skate. Madison has two the other direction. Puck played around, 45 seconds to go. Campbell to Brown. Brown to neutral ice. Madison carries forward. Kruger changes. Chalicki's on. Backdoor pass. Backdoor pass on the near side of Dabrowski, glove side. Madison buries the opportunity, and it's 2-0. Face-off controlled by Fury. Prusgintis to Kushkowski. Kushkowski to Carter. Carter shot off of the blocker and out of play. Carter, Kushkowski, Chalicki, Aldridge, and Prusgintis on the ice. 19.7 seconds to go. Face-off one back to Chalicki, hits off of his skate. Madison clears that puck to Prusgintis. Prusgintis. Puck gets stuck on the boards. Kushkowski trying to help dig it out. 3 seconds. 2, 1. That's it. So after 1, Madison leads by 2. We'll start the second period with Chalicki, Kushkowski, Carter, Aldridge, and Prusgintis. Madison controls the face-off from the dot, sends it up the near boards, back to Prusgintis, who knocks it away from Madison. Madison still with it in the zone. Prusgintis knocks it loose to Kushkowski. Kushkowski to Chalicki, cross for Carter. Carter takes a high hit. They do call it, and he's calling head contact. So they're going to get a 2 and a 10. So we're going to go on the power play here with 16:38 to go in the second. We'll get a nice cut around the 8:30 mark as well. To start the power play off, we've got Pulauskas, Nietzsche, Letcher, Reynolds, Prusgintis. Dropped one back. Pulauskas tried to pass that to Reynolds so that he could get a shot off on his forehand. Knocked away. Pulauskas gets it to Prusgintis, whose shot goes off pad into the corner. Madison digs the puck out and then clears to Dabrowski. Dabrowski plays it to Letcher. Letcher from behind the net to Prusgintis. Prusgintis cross center ice and into the zone. Gets a shot, goes into the glove of the goaltender. 1:26 to go on the power play. 16:04 in the period. We'll get a change. Kushkowski, Campbell, Brown, Carter, Chalicki. Chalicki's going to take this face off. Puck goes to the backboard. Carter tries to send it around. Madison gets a hold of it and clears. Dabrowski puts it back for Campbell. Campbell from behind Dabrowski carries forward over to Krzyzkowski. Krzyzkowski chips ahead for Brown. Brown around the net. Tries to chip it to Chalicki. Pins. Puck underneath. Carter over to help. Chalicki coming. Puck to Chalicki. Chalicki in the corner. Up to Campbell. Campbell walks the line, gets it across to Krzyzkowski. Krzyzkowski back to Campbell. Campbell to Chalicki. Chalicki, one-timer into the chest of the goaltender. No rebound, and we'll send out the other power play unit. Prisgintis, Letcher, Reynolds, Nietzsche, Polauskas. Face off back to Prisgintis. He takes it down the boards. Up to Letcher. Back down low for Reynolds. Back to Letcher. Letcher chips it. Polauskas does a nice job of taking that away. He had to wait. Puck knocked away. Prisgintis gets the body on. Polauskas picks it up, gets it to Letcher. Letcher across. Prisgintis. Pass to Nietzsche and in. So with 14:48 to go in the second, it's 2-1. Nietzsche from Prisgintis and Letcher. Kruger, Bergeron, thank you. Credidio on with Rybicki and Campbell. Puck knocked over to Rybicki. Rybicki goes to Campbell. Campbell cross ice for Bergeron. Bergeron carries in, but someone was offsides. Same personnel grouping. Campbell sends that around for Credidio. Credidio sends it to the corner for Bergeron. Bergeron gets it. Credidio over to help. Puck still in the corner. Bergeron, Credidio trying to dig it out. Credidio gets it and sends it around, hits off of the official. Kruger pressuring. Puck on the sideboard. Bergeron in, gets a hit. Puck gets past Campbell, but Rybicki covers and puts this guy into the corner. Rybicki to Campbell. Campbell to Credidio over to Kruger. Loose puck picked up by Credidio. He takes a knee. Puck past Campbell. He recovers, knocks it away. Madison in the corner trying to get it around. Reynolds on the ice to Bergeron. Bergeron back to Reynolds. Reynolds gets stood up. Madison takes the puck away. Chalicki on the ice. Miller reads that, gets in front. Madison's got a guy back door. Prisgintis comes in to challenge. Shot goes high and wide. Carter on the ice. Takes it. He's got Chalicki with him. Carter to Chalicki. It's 2-2. So Carter gets a shot, gets his own rebound. Shoots again. Puck goes to Chalicki. So it'll be Chalicki from Carter. Brown, Krzyzewski, Letcher on the ice. Puck knocked around over the sideboard. Brown pins. Puck is underneath Brown and Madison. Krzyzewski and Letcher over to help. Puck gets behind Krzyzewski. Brown gets dumped. Madison picks up. Sends over to the far board. Miller tries to clear past Madison. It's on the board again. Madison down low. Miller and Krzyzewski pinning. Brown knocks it away. Knocked away from Brown. Madison back the other direction. Brown lifts a stick. Puck over to the sideboard. Madison trying to get past Letcher. Blocked. Brown gets taken down. Madison gets a shot off of Dabrowski. Puck loose to Miller. Over to Letcher. To Brown. Brown carries forward to Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski puts the puck behind the net. Brown changes. Polauskas comes on. Letcher takes that puck away over to Rybicki. Rybicki and Aldridge at D. Rybicki takes a shot, bounces off the pad. Polauskas takes a cross check in front. Puck over to the corner. Polauskas comes to get it. Puck knocked away from Polauskas as he tried to send it back in. Madison sends it and changes. Rybicki waiting. Gives the puck over to Aldridge. Nietzsche, Polauskas, and Bergeron on the ice. Polauskas gets a shot hard off of the goaltender, bounces over to the corner. Madison picks up. Rybicki tries to send it down. Madison has two men on the puck. Puck across to Aldridge. Aldridge up for Polauskas. Polauskas tries to sidestep a guy. Puck goes loose into the middle of the ice. Madison tries to get it down and out, but puck goes to the corner. Polauskas and Nietzsche battling. Aldridge changes and Miller comes on. Puck goes behind Madison goaltender, up the near board, and dumped into the zone. Dabrowski plays it around the boards for Bergeron. Bergeron up to Nietzsche. Nietzsche picks that puck up, avoids a hit. Credidio gets off the ice just in time. Polauskas was going to change, but decided later to stay on, so Credidio had to quickly jump off. Polauskas sends that to Campbell. Campbell escapes. Over to Miller. Miller tried to get that back to Campbell. Hits the stick of a Madison player. Puck loose to Polauskas. He's going to ice it. 9:47 to go in the second. It's 2-2. Kruger, Reynolds, Credidio, Aldridge, and Krzyzewski on the ice. Faceoff goes to the corner. Madison gets it out. Backdoor. Dabrowski saves. It goes up to Kruger. Puck down low. Madison picks it up. Krzyzewski pins. Reynolds gets a hit. Puts that puck up to Kruger. Kruger to Credidio. Credidio. Shot into the glove of the goaltender. No rebound. Krzyzewski, Chalicki, Carter, Krzyzewski, and Aldridge on the ice. Madison gets kicked out. Got a new center in. Krzyzewski wins it to Chalicki, to Krzyzewski, back around for Carter, gets past him and into the corner. Madison clears up the far board, cross-ice pass, and they enter wide. Pass trying to get into the middle of the ice. Brzgintzis is going to get a penalty. So Brzgintzis is going to go for roughing. Madison will get a power play. We'll have to send out a kill unit. It'll be Nietzsche, Letcher, Campbell, and Rubicki. We'll most likely have an ice cut with this penalty still on. Madison controls the faceoff, goes up to their D. Letcher giving pressure, forces them to go D to D. Puck to the middle, over to the sideboard, back to the middle. Nietzsche trying to get that puck knocked away. It goes wide of Dabrowski and out. Madison leaves it behind their net. Madison trying to get it into the zone. Does. Stops on the sideboard. Letcher over. Causes a turnover. Letcher's got Nietzsche. Letcher to Nietzsche. Nietzsche. One-time attempt goes into the corner. Nietzsche gets it over to Letcher. Letcher back up to Rubicki. Rubicki regroups. Back to Campbell. Campbell decides to send it in. Reynolds is on the ice. Nietzsche goes for a change. Puck played up. Campbell gets it back down low. Kushkowski comes on. Reynolds working on the back, trying to dig that out. Reynolds forcing Madison to regroup. They get a change. .32 seconds to go on the power play. Madison on the near board sends it down low. Campbell pins, knocks the puck away, carries it forward. Campbell on the sideboard. Puts the puck to the corner. Reynolds is there. Reynolds. Campbell step aside. Good stick by Reynolds, knocked that away. Madison turns it over to Reynolds. Reynolds gets stood up. Madison takes it back the other direction. Turnover to Rubicki. Rubicki's got Chalicki, bounces off of Chalicki. Madison picks up. That'll be the end of the power play for Madison. We're even. Kushkowski pass to Chalicki, gets pushed aside. Kushkowski comes back. Madison's a shot attempt is tied up. They put it back into the corner. Chalicki to Kushkowski to Miller. Puck knocked away. Miller keeps it. Miller waits, sends it down for Chalicki. Chalicki on the backboard. Nietzsche's on. Nietzsche to Aldridge. Aldridge shot. Rebound in front. Chalicki gets a backhand. It's underneath the goaltender, and that should be the ice cut. So, long time no. But with 6:03 to go in the second, we'll go to ice cut. Tied 2-2. Come back off the ice cut. We're going to send out Carter, Kushkowski, Chalicki, Prisgintis, and Aldridge. Carter puts this guy hard into the boards. Puck goes hard around. And that'll go for an icing. .554 to go in the second. Carter comes to take that face off, wins it back to Chalicki. Chalicki to Aldridge, back to Chalicki. Chalicki. Pass gets taken away by Madison. They send it up the sideboard. Hits off of Kushkowski back to Madison. Over to the near board. Carter, another hit. Puck gets knocked into the zone. Madison picks up. They try to clear. Chalicki steals it, gets a shot. Gets deflected by Madison over to the sideboard. Puck flipped out a little too far for Prisgintis to get to. And we'll get a change. Reynolds, Bergeron, Palauskas, Rubicki, and Campbell on the ice. Palauskas takes the face-off, gets stuck in some feet. Madison digs it out and goes behind their own goaltender. Puck comes out. Campbell sends it back in to Bergeron. Bergeron touches, and we get a whistle. Reynolds comes to take the draw. Face off over the sideboards. Reynolds tries to dig it out. Madison moves forward. Burge and Madison get tied up. Puck gets underneath Madison. Rubicki picks it up, carries in. Shot gets deflected high above the net over to the sideboard and then taken away by Madison. Madison gets past Campbell. Centering pass across. Shot on Dabrowski. Campbell, good recovery, gets there before the puck can cross the line and clears. Campbell, cross ice for Palauskas. Palauskas chips to Reynolds. Reynolds enters. Pass to Palauskas. Palauskas back to Campbell. Campbell's shot goes off of the goaltender and cleared by Madison. They send it down. That'll definitely be icing. And we'll get a change. Letcher, Credidio, and Nietzsche on the ice. Prisgintis and Miller will remain. 4:16 to go in the second. Campbell with a huge stop. It was an almost goal, bounce off of Dabrowski and in. Puck knocked up high by Madison. Letcher sends it around over to the sideboard. Nietzsche and Credidio there. Credidio gets a hit on. Puck is off sides. Madison knocks it to Nietzsche, who puts it in. Credidio's shot goes wide of the goaltender over to the sideboard where Letcher is. Nietzsche over to help. Credidio over to help. Madison looking for somewhere to go. Comes up the sideboard, gets past Miller. Nietzsche knocks him off the puck, puts it over to Letcher. Letcher chips ahead from Miller. Puck goes into neutral ice. Credidio giving pressure. Madison chips the puck in off of the backboard. Nietzsche drops it for Miller. Miller to Prisgintis. Goes past Prisgintis to Letcher. Puck back into neutral ice. Kruger on. Madison trying to get past Miller. He's given enough pressure. Letcher picks up that puck and then sends it across for Kruger. That's going to be icing. Puck went behind Kruger. Letcher will change and Brown will come on. Kushkowski at center. Rubicki joins Aldridge. Kushkowski to take the face-off. Madison wins that back. They got a quick shot on Dabrowski. Hits off of Dabrowski, goes on the backboard. Kruger chips forward for Brown. That's going to get played by the goaltender. Puck gets past Kruger. Madison the other direction. Shot on Dabrowski. Saves it. Kushkowski tries to chip it. Rubicki picks it up. Goes between Brown's legs. And then between Madison's legs, they finally knock it out of play. 2:27 to go in the second. Reynolds, Carter, and face-off controlled by Madison. They send it up the sideboard, knocked by Aldridge to Carter. Carter tries to pass across, blocked by Madison to Rubicki. Rubicki up the glass to Chalicki, bounces past Chalicki. Madison's offsides. Aldridge and Rubicki come on at D. Reynolds is going to take this face-off. Reynolds pushes that puck back to Rubicki, gets stuck in his feet. Madison, centering pass. Oh, Aldridge tries to clear. Reynolds knocks a puck down from behind Dabrowski. Another loose puck kicked. And then put in. 1:51 to go. And it is 3-2 Madison. Nietzsche, Bergeron, Pulauskas come on the ice. Madison sends that puck back. They regroup behind their goaltender, try to get past Nietzsche, puck over to the sideboard and then across. Puck in neutral ice. Carried in. Pass blocked off of Campbell to the D. Shot on Dabrowski. Pushed aside. From behind Dabrowski, Madison sends it out. Shot on Dabrowski, blocks it to the board. Bergeron. Up for Nietzsche. Nietzsche taps it, goes to the corner. Madison tries to carry forward. Pulauskas sends it to Miller. Miller shot in. Miller from Pulauskas, and it's tied. Kushkowski with Letcher and Credidio. Madison wins a faceoff. Up the sideboard and in. Dabrowski leaves it for Przgintis. Przgintis up to Credidio to Kushkowski. Kushkowski gets tied up. Madison sends it out. It hits off of Credidio. Dabrowski decides to play it up the boards to Credidio. Credidio tries to chip forward for Kushkowski, tied up by Madison and sent back down. Aldridge ties up his man. Puck comes loose to Letcher. Letcher decides to move forward. Goes wide, enters the zone. Centering attempt, knocked aside. Madison ices. And Madison ices gets a change. 18.2 seconds left in the period. Brown, Kruger, Reynolds, Prisgintis, and Aldridge. Reynolds wins that puck over to Brown. Brown sends it to Prisgintis. Prisgintis shot, not enough on it. Stop, but Madison gets tied up and tries to enter. Puck goes to Prisgintis. Prisgintis sends it into the corner. 2 seconds to go. Centering attempt, knocked aside, and that'll be the end of the second period. After two were tied, 3-3. And we're going to keep the same line that we had when we ended the period. Brown, Reynolds, Kruger, Campbell, and Miller. Brown digs that puck from behind Reynolds to Miller. Miller to Campbell. Campbell's pass attempt up gets intercepted by the Capitals. Miller's attempt to carry the puck forward gets stolen and put on Dabrowski. No rebound. 16:43 to go in the game. Reynolds puts that over to the sideboard. Shot deflected in front by Campbell and goes wide. Kruger to Brown. Brown to Reynolds. Reynolds tries to get past one. Brown picks it up, takes a shot. Shot goes wide up the sideboard. Madison have 4. Brown gets back on the back check. They come off the sideboard. Shot goes into Dabrowski's glove. No rebound. Nietzsche, Carter, and Chalicki come on the ice. Aldridge and Rubicki at D. Good, how are you? Face off underneath. Rubicki dug it out, but Madison gets a hold of it. They have to regroup. They decide to send it down. Dabrowski's going to stop it. Leaves it for Rubicki. Rubicki gets hooked. We're going to go on the power play. But Rubicki draws a hook. Carter, waiting for the 6th attacker, sends the puck back to Rubicki. Over to Chalicki. To Aldridge. Aldridge to Rubicki. Rubicki to Chalicki. Chalicki's got Carter and Nietzsche with him. He waits and gives it to Aldridge. Puck's in front, loose, and finally touched up. We're going to send our power play unit out. Nietzsche, Reynolds, Polauskas, Prisgintis, and Letcher on this power play. 15:34 to go in the game. Madison penalty, 2 minutes for holding. Puck dug out by Madison out from under Nietzsche. Bouncing puck gets past Nietzsche over to Letcher. Letcher to Prisgintis. Prisgintis and Letcher switch spots. Letcher, quick pass over to Prisgintis. Cross ice for Reynolds. Puck knocked to Nietzsche. Reynolds carries in. Circling over to Polauskas up to Prisgintis. Prisgintis and Polauskas switch spots. Prisgintis carries down. Pass over to Reynolds. Shot in front for Nietzsche. Madison tries to clear, does get it out finally. Polauskas takes it away and carries back in. Polauskas almost gets tripped. Centering pass. There we go. So centering pass to Reynolds. Bounces off of the goaltender and Nietzsche buries the rebound. It's 4-3 with 14:45 to go. Nietzsche from Reynolds. And I've already forgot who the other one was. Kushkowski wins that faceoff back. Rubicki to Campbell. Campbell dumps it in. Bergeron and Polauskas on the ice as well. Madison sends that puck forward. Rubicki up to Bergeron. Bergeron has got Kushkowski. Pass to Kushkowski, knocks off of Kushkowski's stick to the corner. Up to Campbell. Campbell back to Kushkowski. Puck over to the side. Hits off of Campbell's skate. Kushkowski sends it forward for Polauskas. Polauskas shot is blocked. It goes to the backboard. Bergeron centering step hits off of the net to the side. Madison sends it down. They're going to say Kushkowski touched it. Dabrowski leaves it for Miller. Miller to Campbell. To Kushkowski. Kushkowski chips in and changes. Kruger comes on. Reynolds comes on. Bergeron giving pressure, forcing Madison to come up with a new exit plan. They send it down. Brown comes on for Bergeron. Puck over to the sideboard. Kruger's going to go for a slash. So with 13:13 to go in the game, Madison gets a power play. Kruger 2 minutes for slashing. Letcher gets that puck away from Madison, sends it back to Miller, up to Reynolds. Puck goes into the middle of the ice and onto the goaltender. Madison turns it over, hits off of Reynolds, and they're back in their own zone. Minute 36 to go on the power play for Madison. Reynolds and Kruger forcing Madison wide. Oh, sorry. Did I say I meant Letcher? Madison takes an extra stab at it after covered. I get a whistle. Kushkowski, Aldridge, Rubicki, and Nietzsche on the ice. Puck goes back to Aldridge. He sends it up the boards, kept in by Madison. Madison to the point. Good stick by Kushkowski. The puck comes out. Madison up the far board and in. Into the corner. Aldridge pins. Picked up by Madison. They're behind Dabrowski now, trying to get past Rubicki. Rubicki ties up. Madison digs that out into the opposite corner up to the point and back down low. Rubicki gets it out and sends it up. Nietzsche speeding down, forcing Madison to make a decision. Nietzsche takes it away. Nietzsche circling, decides to keep hold of it, wastes as much time as he can, and then sends it down. Rubicki changes. Campbell comes on. Nietzsche changes. Reynolds comes on. Madison offsides. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Chalicki comes on the ice. So Chalicki joins Reynolds. Miller on for Aldridge. So Miller, Campbell, Reynolds, and Chalicki on the ice for the last 10 seconds of this kill. Madison controls the faceoff, sends it back to their D. Chalicki up to challenge. Madison decides to throw it on net. Kruger comes out. Carter comes on. We're all even. Campbell takes that puck away. Gets stuck in some feet and knocked away by Carter. Madison sends it to the corner. Campbell carries it up for Carter. Madison takes it aside. Reynolds gets a hold of the puck and carries it in. Puck down low for Chalicki, up to Miller. Miller shot blocked in front, picked up by Reynolds, back to Miller. Miller down to Carter. Carter escapes. Puck in some feet. Reynolds gets that to Campbell, back over to Carter. Reynolds, Chalicki coming over to help, digs it out, gets it to Carter. Carter to Campbell. Campbell to Miller. Miller down the line, cross for Chalicki. Puts it in front, blocked. Reynolds knocks it to Miller. Miller in the corner, takes a hit. Madison can't clear. Chalicki doesn't quite get all the slap shot. Hits off of the goaltender and then cleared by Madison. That should be icing. 9:52 to go. Pulauskas, Bergeron, Kushkowski, Aldridge, and Prisgintis on the ice. Face-off, one back to Kushkowski, tapped by Madison. They've got two coming the other way, trying to get past Prisgintis' long reach, and can't. Puck to the corner. Knocked back down low. Aldridge is there. Centering attempt gets deflected. Kept in by Madison. Their shot attempt goes wide. Prisgintis knocks the puck loose. Madison still in control. Puck makes its way to Kushkowski. Kept in and put down by Madison. Backdoor pass. Hits off of Madison's skates. Finds its way to Pulauskas. Pulauskas still working. Letcher comes on the ice. Rubicki keeps it in. Carries down. Backhand shot. Deflects and then knocked over to the opposite corner. Madison sends it on Dabrowski. Dabrowski plays it to Rubicki. Rubicki escapes. Nietzsche comes on the ice for Kushkowski. Letcher circling. Puck in the corner. Tries to get it up to Campbell. Madison gets in the way. Madison loses an edge. Letcher picks it up. Pulauskas changes. Perdidio comes on. Presidio to Nietzsche, knocked away. Madison carrying up the far board. Rubicki steps in front, puck to Campbell. Puck bounces on Campbell, but he does get it over to Letcher. Letcher knocks it to Nietzsche. Nietzsche enters the zone, shot wide of the net. Presidio taps it up to Miller. Miller sends it into shot into the goaltender. No rebound. But with 7:49 to go in the game, we're going to send out Kruger, Brown, and Reynolds. Kruger to take the face-off. Reynolds offset. Comes in. To Reynolds. Reynolds gets it over to Kruger. Kruger pass intercepted by Madison. Madison back the other direction. Brown and Reynolds back checking. Reynolds knocks the man off the puck. Prisgintis gets a stick on it. Reynolds comes in. Prisgintis up to Brown. Brown clears. Kruger comes over, ties up. Brown tries to dig that puck out. Madison gets a hold of it, and they regroup. Puck up to Madison. They dump it in. Brown changes. Carter comes on. To Kushkowski. Kruger's offsides. Kushkowski battling Madison in control of that face-off. They send it over the sideboard and down. Dabrowski up the boards. Puck gets knocked back by Madison. Rubicki tries to send it for Carter. Misses. Icing wave. They're saying Madison could have played that. Puck in the corner. Knocked away by Kushkowski. Shalicki puts it back to Kushkowski. Centering pass for Carter. Carter's shot into the stomach of the goaltender. No rebound. 6:19 to go in the game. Fury with a 4-3 lead. Rubicki sends that puck for Carter. Carter deflects it. It goes wide. Carter takes a cross check. We're going to go on the power play. The Madison 2-minute penalty for cross-checking with 6 Nietzsche, Reynolds, Letcher, Palauskas, and Prisgintis on the ice. Puck one back to Prisgintis, sends it to Palauskas, back to Prisgintis. Prisgintis takes a shot, hits the goaltender, no rebound. Palauskas' pass attempt gets blocked. He gets it to Prisgintis, who sends it right back to Palauskas. Palauskas back up to Prisgintis. Prisgintis cross for Letcher. Letcher down low for Reynolds. Reynolds' shot attempt from that angle goes off of the boards. Pulauskas keeps it in. Reynolds to Przgintis. Przgintis shot is wide, and Madison clears. 1:22 to go in the power play. 5:20 in the game. Przgintis carries that puck forward for Nietzsche. Hits Nietzsche in the skates. It gets knocked loose back to Letcher. Letcher pass to Przgintis. Przgintis wasn't quite ready for it. It goes back in the zone. Nietzsche picks it up. Nietzsche, one step and he's gone. He gets past Madison, carries the puck in over the sideboard. Campbell's on the ice. Madison clears and carries forward. Puck knocked behind Dabrowski. Campbell picks it up. Brown and Chalicki are on the ice. Letcher comes off and Kushkowski comes on. Brown's in the slot. Pass misses Brown. Kushkowski picks it up. Gets past one, carries in. Chalicki, cross for Brown. Brown to Reynolds. Reynolds, shot high off of the glass. Kushkowski keeps it in. Back down low for Reynolds. Puck gets pinned. 5 seconds to go on the power play. Brown digging it out with Reynolds. We're even. Brown gets that puck over to Kushkowski. Kushkowski's shot is blocked. Brown gets the puck off, takes a shot low, bounces off of the pad. Madison tries to get it the other direction. Chalicki picks it up. Puck knocked away from Chalicki. Reynolds changes. Brown changes. Shot in front. Pulauskas knocks it over to Chalicki. Chalicki takes a big hit. Kushkowski to a streaking Pulauskas gets a shot. Deflected and into the netting. .325 to go in the third. Fury with the 1-goal lead, 4-3. Bergeron, Nietzsche, Pulauskas on the ice. Puck gets tied up. Madison digs it out. It finds its way to Aldridge. Pulauskas sends it to Rybicki. Rybicki to Nietzsche. Nietzsche shot attempt blocked over to Rybicki. Rybicki takes a shot into the glove of the goaltender. Puck, one back to Rybicki. Rybicki's shot blocked in front. Pulauskas tried to escape. It gets knocked off of his stick. Madison enters the zone. Centering attempt blocked by Aldridge. Puck to the corner. Madison sends it up to their D. Shot in front. Dabrowski, it's underneath him. He covers. 2:46 to go. Brown, Reynolds, Letcher on the ice. Miller and Przgintis at D. Face off to the blocker side of Dabrowski. Reynolds takes the draw. One back to Miller over to Brown. Brown gets it up the boards to Letcher. Letcher gets tied up by Madison. Madison centering attempt knocked away by Miller. Letcher picks it up. Letcher carries forward. Stops and waits. Flips it to the corner. Reynolds goes down to get it. Puck to the opposite corner. Brown is there. Sends it to Reynolds. Reynolds cross ice for Przgintis. Letcher sends it around. Brown comes over to the sideboard, puts it on net. Madison from behind their own goaltender over to the sideboard. Brown coming across the challenge. Madison puts it in. Brown gets taken down. They got tied up a little bit. Minute 51 to go. Centering attempt deflects. No goalie for Madison. They've got the sixth attacker on. Miller tying up Brzgintis over to help. Brzgintis sends it up the sideboard. Letcher up to challenge the shot. Shot in front. Hits off of Dabrowski. Miller to Reynolds. Reynolds tries to send it down. It hits off of Madison into neutral ice. Brown and Letcher change. Carter and Chalicki come on. Puck knocked away over to the sideboard. Brzgintis sends it down the ice. And that'll go for icing. A minute 10 to go. Kushkowski's going to come on the ice. Madison takes a timeout with a minute 10 to go. We're going to go with, looks like Chalicki, Kushkowski, Carter, Campbell, and Rubicki. All right, Capitals come off the bench with 6 skaters and an empty net. And we change up. We change up our grouping for this one. Letcher and Reynolds come on with Chalicki. Brzgintis and Aldridge at D. Face off. Pushed over to the sideboard. Chalicki pins it. Reynolds gets a hold of it and sends it down. And that goes wide. Minute 1 to go. Letcher and one of the Madison players exchanging some stick play. Reynolds wins that faceoff and sends it down just wide again. But it takes 6 seconds off, 5 seconds off, 56.2 seconds to go. Face off one back. Aldridge gets tied up and then held. Chalicki sends that puck out. Hits off of Madison. They come in to enter. Letcher gives a little shove, and it's enough to knock the puck. Chalicki carries forward. Tries to backhand that puck in. It gets blocked. Madison sends the puck in. Dabrowski comes over to play at 27 seconds. Dabrowski's going to send it down. And just a little off, but he's going for the goalie goal. Almost. Just 20 feet off. We got to change. Kushkowski, Palauskas, Nietzsche Miller and Campbell come on the ice. 21 and a half seconds to go. Face off underneath Kushkowski, chipped forward by Pulauskas. Madison sends it back behind Dabrowski. Over to the sideboard and back up. They look to get a shot. Shot hits off of, I think, Dabrowski's cage and cleared. Madison over to the sideboard, 2 seconds. Miller pins. That should do it. So end of regulation, and Fury with the win, 4-3. Game-winning goal goes to Nietzsche. 2 goals on the day for Nietzsche. We'll play again at 8 o'clock. We'll see you guys all later.